welcome to Smeester's Corner. I'm Adam Smeester. Today's topic is manipulation. So we're going to discuss how you know if someone in your life is a manipulator, so what it is that they do, and then how to deal with them. On this topic, I'm speaking a little bit from experience, not as a manipulator, but being on the other side of it. There can be different reasons why manipulators manipulate. So let's go through some of those real quick. For most of the time, manipulators feel powerless. They need to feel powerful. They need to have the power back in their life. So they manipulate. Maybe they manipulate to cause confusion. When there's confusion, things can be hidden. Maybe they're trying to conceal their intentions because their intentions aren't very good, but they don't want to seem like a bad person. Maybe they're trying to avoid responsibility. Maybe they're avoiding having to change, or maybe they're just trying to have power over another person to feel more powerful. Regardless of why they're manipulating, all of the manipulation puts you, the person that they're trying to manipulate, in a role. They're putting you in a role, and they're taking a role. Maybe they're putting you in the victim spot, so you need them. So they're trying to make you feel like you're a victim, so you need them. Maybe they're trying to put you in the role as the bad guy, so you'll feel bad so they can get you to do what they want you to do. Or maybe they're trying to put you in the role of the rescuer, that they need you, so you feel good about yourself about having rescued someone or helping somebody out. But for the majority of the time, they're trying to make you take responsibility for them so that you're the one making the decisions for them, because they probably don't feel powerful enough to make the decisions in their own life, maybe because they're scared of making a bad decision or something. So they're trying to get you to take responsibility for them in some way. They are probably powerless people in their life. Powerless people a lot of times feel a lot of fear. They could be afraid of loss. They could be afraid of pain, feeling more pain. They could be afraid of abandonment. They could be afraid of death. So they need other people to take responsibility in their life, make them happy because they're unable to make themselves happy. They need other people to protect them and to take responsibility for them. So to get people to do this, they manipulate. So here are some very common manipulative tactics they use. So if someone close to you is doing one of these things, they're trying to manipulate you. So you just need to be aware of that. Do with it what you will, but you need to be aware. The first one is gaslighting. So this is when they try to get you to question yourself over what they did. So they do something, but they're trying to get you to question yourself over what they did to you. So they'll say things like, I only do this because I love you. Or you made me do this. Why you keep making me do this? Stuff like that. This one's a common one, being passive aggressive. This might include giving you the silent treatment or withholding love. Like, I'm not going to do this with you unless you do blah, blah, blah. Or the silent treatment might include they're not speaking to you, and then they're trying to get you to act like a little puppy dog and follow them around and say, what's wrong? What's wrong? And they'll say nothing. Even though it's obvious that there's something wrong, they're just trying to manipulate you into acting how they want you to act in that moment. Or maybe they don't want to feel bad, so they're trying to get you feel bad or something. The next one is guilt tripping, casting judgment, or blaming. It's all kind of the same thing. Judging you, blaming you, guilt tripping you, making you feel bad. It's all kind of very similar. One type of judgment would be keeping track. They keep track of everything. They keep track of how much you've hurt them, and they bring it up. Oh yeah, well, you did this to me, you've done this to me, you keep doing this to me, and they keep bringing it up. You can never get past what you've done to them. They keep track of how much they've sacrificed. Well, I've done this for you, and I've done this for you, and they keep bringing that up to get you to feel bad, so that you will do what they want you to do. They'll say things like, well, if you love me, then you would do X for me. Okay, that's guilt tripping. They're trying to get you to do something. Maybe they use your abilities against you. So they'll make you feel bad about something good that you do. So maybe you look a certain way that they resent, or maybe you're good at something and say, well, if I was more like you, then I would do, and talk about all the good they would do if they were more like you or something. All of this gets you to be on the defensive. So you're constantly explaining yourself. You're constantly defending yourself. They typically don't have it. and then they'll just go back to blaming you. It doesn't really do any good to explain yourself. The next one is flattery. So they make you feel really good about yourself. They'll say things like, "You've helped me so much, more than anybody in my entire life," or "I can't imagine what life would be like without you." But they do this to keep you close. And this is a way of making you feel guilt if you were to ever leave, so that you don't leave them. Then there's the extreme form of flattery, which is called love bombing. This is extreme flattery or gift giving. They're constantly giving you gifts. They're constantly flattering you in big, kind of outrageous ways. And it makes you feel good, but there's probably some manipulation behind it. It's okay if people give you gifts and flatter you, but we're talking like on a consistent basis here. The next one is exaggeration. So maybe they exaggerate about their past, like you maybe know their past, and you hear them talking to other people and they kind of exaggerate it a little bit to get sympathy from people. And you tell yourself, well, that's just kind of how they are. And you make excuses for it. Or they'll say exaggerated things like, "No one has ever loved me. Why won't you do this? No one has ever done whatever." And it's a lot of that never or ever statements. The next one is using cruel humor. They do this to get you to feel insecure about yourself. So you're not really sure if they're joking or not. So they'll say things like, "God, you're so stupid. Oh man, you're such an idiot." And then they'll say, "Just kidding." And you're like, did they really think that? Because it kind of sounded like they really think that. Like they said it in a way that didn't seem like they were kidding. And then when you get upset, they accuse you of being too sensitive or whatever. And the last one, and this is one of the bigger ones, is the lack of responsibility. They have a serious lack of responsibility, which is why they try to manipulate in the first place. So nothing's ever their fault. They play the victim constantly, like they're the ones that you're getting hurt by you all the time. Or they may flat out just ask you to be responsible for them. So they may say, "Hey, if I ever do this, make sure you call me on it. Make sure you tell me when I do blah, blah, blah. Make sure, like I need someone in my life who can do that for me." And you think to yourself, "Oh, okay, like, yeah, I'm helping this person out," but it's manipulation. All right, so now that we've gone through the ways people manipulate, how do you deal with that? First way, let your no mean no. Don't argue. So if you say no, you don't have to explain yourself. If it's a manipulator and you've identified them as a manipulator, just know they're going to argue with you because they need to get their way. So just say no. You explaining yourself isn't really going to work. And they know why, probably. Next one, don't apologize just to keep the peace. This is something I'm guilty of. I would apologize just to keep the peace, even though I knew I probably wasn't in the wrong. But I would apologize anyway just to make things seem okay. I didn't think it was any big deal. Number 3, don't react. They're trying to get a reaction out of you. They're trying to manipulate you. That's the whole reason for manipulation, is to get a certain reaction out of you. You can say things like, "We can talk later when you decide to be more respectful," and then walk away. You can even push back a little bit. And you can say, "Don't tell me I'm a bad person. I know I'm not a bad person. Don't put this on me. This is something you did," and you can tell the truth. Also, number 4, don't bother correcting them. So they'll say you did X, even though you know you didn't do X to them. You defend yourself. But instead of going from there, they just go right back to accusing you. You'll never get anywhere. And number 5, you need to have boundaries and enforce those boundaries around manipulative people. And if you don't know how to have boundaries, you should listen to my Smeester's Corner on having boundaries, or I think it was called protecting yourself and from others. Basically, boundaries are how you're going to let people treat you. So you have a line that they can't cross. And then if they do cross it, what are you going to do about it? So you should listen to that one. So I hope this helps. I hope it helps to make you feel like a more powerful person, that you have a little bit more agency in your relationships so you're not getting manipulated by other people. Thanks for watching.